call?
Mark Eastman,
Here?
Steve Bishop,
Yep.
Jim Morrison, Jim Boothby,
Here.
Ron Russell,
Here.
Larry Wall,
Here.
John Paul Lalonde,
Here.
Joe DeVanza,
Yep.
and Dick Peterson.
Here.
Item 2 are approved minutes from the March 2023 meeting. Any comments or questions?
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? Abstained. Motion passes. Item 3, Downtown District Exterior Improvement Grants. And under that would be request for update timeline for project completion. Rich?
So we had one grant that was completed, and that person's already been funded. That was Hammerlock property, Tom Goodman's property. And I received a call from Mr. Mayor about painting, and I didn't know, and I should have done some research, but apparently now is not the right time to be painting, nor was it in November. And I was advised that if we try to get people to paint, outdoor paint in this type of weather, that it may look worse off than what it currently looks like. There were a couple other projects that have also been delayed due to contractors, and I wanted to see what the committee's appetite was for. We had it ending May 18th to give the town enough time to make sure that checks went out prior to June 30th, and Rachel was able to turn the last check in under a week. So I was hoping to get an extension of at least 1 month by the committee.
So you want to do June 18th? Is that
Or whatever that Thursday is in June.
15th?
June 16th.
16th?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, yes, we should go 15th because we're closed on Friday, June 15th.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the committee?
I have one question. So if someone doesn't complete it or even start it, what happens? Is it offered back to the residents or businesses for new plans, or what happens to the money that's not spent?
Good question. So we didn't reach the $100,000 goal, so that money was being left behind. So this money would just go back into the account where it came from. Hence,
next
question
item.
B, which is consideration of pursuing a second round of funding. But no, it's a good question, because the thought was that money's there and we could use for success and failures. How many got done? What was done, and was it done to what we'd like? Because we need to really be able to sell if we're gonna try to do this again. There's a lot of projects going on. I know Larry's buildings have it going on, and I know Crumpet was able to get half of their work done. One was a new awning and one was painting. Frank's Barber Shop was painting, and those were the two that Jim was contacted about and he was concerned about.
So we just need a recommendation for the council to move the date to June 15th.
How many were approved?
9.
Yeah, I know, Northeast Historic Film got one.
And they're another one that's delayed. Northeast Historic Film, and then I just got a phone call today. Who was that? Jack Gordon.
Yeah.
But everyone thinks that if it's extended out to June 15th, that it should work.
I would make that motion to extend it to June 15th.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend moving the completion date from May 18th to June 15th. All those in favor? Opposed? And item B, consideration of pursuing a second round of funding. Any comments from the committee?
Just a question, so if certain projects are not completed or not started, that money could be taken and given to someone else for a project that they may want to? It's not given to these people and they keep it?
No, they don't get funded until the town receives
Right.
receipts that the work is done. So what would happen in this case, if ABC company was approved for this grant and they didn't do anything, that money would stay in the town's coffers. We would not issue it to XYZ company to try to get it done by June 15th. That money's lost for this year.
Cause I know that, Don from Enterprise was talking to me, he wanted to, but he felt embarrassed, so he didn't ask, for some funds to paint or at least fix some of that front of his building, since it's there with the clock and everything. But he felt kind of embarrassed to ask, but I said, well, you shouldn't have. So if there's any funds or other projects are gonna work, he may want to, maybe I can talk him into. So I think we should have a second round. That's my own opinion.
Pays property taxes, doesn't he?
Huh?
He pays property taxes, right? Yeah, well, he deserves it. Yep. He's gonna pay more.
There was a few people that I had talked to that, you know, pretty much had missed the boat on that round and wish they had known about it or.
I'm sure we'd have more applicants this time around
Right,
than we might have the
yeah,
first time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
The House of Pizza, we did all this work, and I said, how come you didn't, he said, that was his answer.
Right.
Well, they never thought it, or never read the paper or whatever, you know.
He got an application. I actually talked to him.
Did he?
He got an application, but he just didn't get it turned in.
But it's, was it, we saw photos of, whoever owns the building, Tomasco's building?
Tom Goodman.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that one came out well, that's been successful, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's what we're going for as an example, so more of that would be a good idea.
It would.
I support it. Second round?
Okay,
think
so
it's a
a
good round.
motion to recommend to the council a second round of funding for the facade grant?
Yes, is
I'll
my
second.
motion.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Item 4 is discussion items not on the agenda for the community and the public. We can start with the public since, Steve?
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Steve St. Peter. I'm the owner of Electric / Solar for Bucksport, Maine. Several of my members that use the chargers here in town, and people that go by the chargers, they keep saying that we should have a sign out front of where the driveway goes down to Warren's Waterfront Restaurant. Chargers here, use our chargers, yada yada yada. I guess that's a good idea. I wanted to run that past you guys. Because I know that in the next few years, electric cars are going to be more prevalent, including this year, because, I mean, there's going to be, I think, at last count, there was 90 new cars that are coming out, trucks, motorcycles that are going to be electric. So we might as well jump on this before the summer tourist season begins. I don't know if that would be something that Rich could do, or... Anyway, I'll let you guys...
All right.
Well, I have a
Steve, I have a
question.
question for you.
Yes,
You
sir.
have a question, so we have questions for you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So my question is, we had a visitor that had a car, and I mentioned the chargers.
Yes.
I don't think they showed up on his charger map.
What did he use exactly,
He has
sir?
a Tesla.
Okay, so there's PlugShare. I did several different websites.
Okay, so all I was saying is we need to get it out there
Yes.
because they rely on that.
Because I've already made an ad for that specific, I think Rich has seen it, it's got a QR code to the PlugShare app itself, and it lists, where it is and stuff like that. And I'm gonna try to send out a mass email to different clubs that are in New England. Also, I work with several different car dealerships that are now just electric car and plug-in hybrids. There's one in New Hampshire called Green Wave Electric Vehicles, and then also I work with Eco Auto in Massachusetts, and then sometimes I work with American Solar Technic over in Stockton Springs, and there's strong demand for chargers for tourists. So
Does the governor's office have any ability to get it listed?
I believe so, Rich.
So the company that we contracted with, that UpConnect,
Yeah,
they have
UpConnect.
it on the websites.
Okay.
I can look
Tesla,
tonight.
these aren't. I don't understand the Tesla.
It needs an adapter.
Yeah, so he
You
probably
couldn't
needs the
find it
high
until
speed
after you
ones,
drove
right?
Nelson.
Yeah, I've been trying to get some high-speed DC fast chargers, they're called, in this area. I believe he got a phone call from a Tim, whatever his name was, and there's no public infrastructure that could support DC fast chargers. I'm gonna see if I can get Family Dollar or possibly Irving Oil, because Irving Oil's gotten some DC fast chargers in this area, in Bangor. And I'd like to see some here, possibly coming off of Verona. That'd be a hot ticket to bring into Bucksport. So, is there anything else that?
Well, I think you covered most of it. I was traveling through Virginia
Okay,
this past last week,
okay,
and out in the country, we came across a gas station,
okay.
stopped at the gas station,
Mhm.
and we didn't see any signs for chargers.
Mhm.
But where we parked, we ended up seeing 12 Tesla charging stations.
Okay,
What I call Tesla. They look like the ones down at Kennybunk.
yeah,
You know, but there were
Charge
no
point.
signs. There were no signs at all.
I know.
For it. And there was one lonely car charging at it, but there were no signs. And so
Okay.
that my question was,
Well,
what
I
you
can
asked.
answer that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so now I know there's a map that says. go here.
Plugshare.com, yep. And then,
Actually, you put your trip in
Yes.
on your Tesla.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you-
on my Tesla?
Yeah,
I'm gonna get one.
and
Okay.
it'll tell you where you need to stop.
I got you.
But it didn't mention Bucksport, probably because it was not a fast charger.
Yeah,
Right.
because we're unplugged, those are unplugged share.
yeah, I did the both listings, so,
And so my next question is on the fast charge. Does that require like a 223 circuit type deal with
I believe so, yes.
recycle type deal?
It would have to be, very fast,
Or
obviously.
40 or something? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get there and I can't seem to.
Okay, so,
A
most
110
fast-
ain't gonna do it, is what I'm
most,
thinking.
most fast chargers, if you have the right battery size,
Yes.
it will take up words to 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what battery size, what battery density. I'm always learning something new, new technology and new
Yep.
terms to use and stuff like that. So, but I mean, the way things are going, I mean, I've been in my friend's Ford F-150, and I mean, they're starting to go off the Darlings lots. I mean, they're expensive, but most people need them, especially when you have to power your house during a power outage, or if you're camping, you need to power some of your equipment. So, Rivian, they have a lot of plug-in adapters. A lot of cars are going to be going to vehicle to grid, so you're going to see a lot of those happening.
Does your F-150 power your house, Ron?
They would they will do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
exactly.
For
So,
2 days.
well, it's on.
My last question, Steve.
Okay.
The people that did find it, how did they find the charger?
Well, I advertised the crap out of it on PlugShare, and then what I did was I also did it on my group, Electric/Solar for Bucksport, Maine. We have about 1,138, maybe more than that now. But I mean, there's more and more interest for DC fast chargers, because as you're coming off that Verona Bridge, if you see those DC fast chargers, they'll be like, well, while we do that, while we charge, if it takes 20 minutes, we'll just grab something and walk the waterfront or check out some of these shops. And that's going to be a major gold mine right there. So if we can get these in town, that'd be great. Sometimes I work with some people. Tim, what's his name? Tim starts with a D, the last name. I know he talked to Rich a while back about the DC fast chargers. And then I'm trying to talk to several people about getting DC fast chargers in this area. It's been kind of iffy, so.
And the fast chargers, what do they do to the batteries? Any downside to that?
Not really. It just, after 10 years of battery use, the degradation will be, well, they're working on that. They're trying to get to the point where the degradation will slow down.
Okay.
So-
My last question.
Okay.
So fast charge now I've learned. Slow charging, I guess, is what's going on down there.
Right.
So what's the difference in speed to charge?
Okay, so the level 2 would be a 4-hour wait if you have a completely dead battery. But if you have a half, let's say you had 50%, that would probably take 2 hours. So while that's happening, people like to go to Warren's, and I tell them, hey, there's a whole bunch of places if you want to go to Warren's to get breakfast with your family, or if you want to go down to that shake shop down the road, Bucksport Nutrition, and then, or if you want to go shopping at the bookstore, there's a friendly cat there named Lucky. And I tell them, listen, we have a great town, and you need to explore it because it's a hidden gem. So if we can get more people here with their electric cars, I'm gonna tell you right now, that is gonna be, e-tourism is very hot. So if we can ask the town council, we need to reach out to several DC fast chargers like ChargePoint, what have you. Irving Oil, I'd love to see Irving Oil because from what I've heard, Bangor has been absolutely like booked with people just like waiting in line to charge their cars. So if we can bring some here, I'm not telling you to do it, but it'd be great to bring it here to Bucksport.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you very much,
Just a
guys.
question.
Oh.
Hi, good, Steve. I know that's down on the waterfront by Warren's Restaurant.
Right.
Going down.
And then there's one over by House of Pizza. So that's for free.
That's been there a long time.
Yeah.
How difficult, I mean, was that the best spot, I was just wondering, as opposed to over by the veterans, flags? Because he's there, if the cars are gonna be parked long, it wouldn't interfere with, I was just wondering,
Right.
people going to the restaurant who want to park, or they're limited, and people walking, and at least say if it's gonna be for 3 or 4 hours, then they can walk and
Yeah.
come
Well,
down and still keep this area.
do you have
free
any insight to
Is there
this?
any
Rich?
way that could be, I'm not saying to move, I'm saying if they're
Yeah.
gonna expand it, you know.
I walked all the locations with, Revision Energy. So prior to applying for a Climate to Thrive grant, which supplied the, level 2 chargers at no cost to the town. And when we got to each of the locations, power was one
That's
of the
one.
necessities. So, of course, anything over the grant amount, the town would be responsible for. And last year's town council did not approve wanting to do anything with electric vehicle chargers. So they did the Climate to Thrive one because there was no cost to the town, no electrical upgrades were needed. Now, yeah, there would be some better parking lots, but the new parking lot we created does not have power, so you can't do it there. You
Right.
can't do it in the McLeod's parking lot.
Unfortunately.
The Veterans Memorial, the power's too far away, and here's a potential, but, if you want them to be seen down there, it's gonna take some serious.
That's what I was wondering if there was power available there, but if there isn't, then it's out.
Yeah. I've
And
been.
to answer a few of your questions, the DC fast charge is 480 volt with 100 amperage, and what we have is called a level 2, it's 240 volt with 80 amperage.
So that would be like 4 hours to charge a car. But a lot of people, they do charge at home and they love it because they can get up in the morning, drink their coffee, and the car is all fully charged. They can do whatever, and they love house chargers. We have several people here in town that have EV chargers at home, and they rave about them. They're like, I don't have to go to any gas stations. They're fully charged. I can drive to Portland whenever I want, or Bangor, and they have a full charge, and then they come home and they can charge it and do it all over again. They absolutely love it, and of course there's no emissions. So, and then they also use solar panels, which is also fantastic. So, if we can get some more people into this EV thing, I think that would be great.
Well, thanks, Steve.
All right. Now I know how Rich feels.
Just another note on that as well, I'm gonna be attending a Zoom tomorrow put on by Maine Department of Transportation and Maine No Energy, Efficiency Maine.
Oh, okay.
Actually, this is the topic. The DOT plans to submit grant applications for charging and fueling infrastructure program funding. There are 2 programs, one to support charging on alternative fuel corridors and another to support community-based charging. So I signed up to represent the town tomorrow, and I'll take that call and provide that feedback to the council.
Is there any way that I could chime in as well, or?
Yeah, we'll talk offline, Steve.
Okay.
All right. Any other items not on the agenda from the committee?
Yeah, I had one. Being away for a month, I was looking to get caught up on what is the current status with Lighthouse Gallery and
So the Lighthouse Art Gallery, Catherine James has closed down the Main Street level. the Bridge Church is now going to move upstairs to the Main Street level. She's having work done on the back, the actual lighthouse itself, that's been changed over from the materials that were used on it over to vinyl siding, because there was leaking coming in. She thought it was the windows, but it ended up being the stucco, the stucco leak, so that's been done. She's got the plans for downstairs, but she's talked potential chops, but she teaches her classes down there as well, so I think she's gonna lean more towards the classes down there.
And can you refresh the committee on, did the town make some kind of concessions, or when that building was under renovation, and wasn't there some deal with the town gave them, deeded them a right-of-way or strip of land,
Which one is this again?
The
the
lighthouse.
Lighthouse Art Gallery?
Oh, we did do something, because there was shoreline zoning
Shoreline zoning,
regulations.
so I believe we got the driveway because of pervious and impervious,
And gave them in front of the
and
building.
gave them in front of it, correct, and we took the driveway. I would have to double check, but I remember that it was something when they went to planning board or
It was
something.
like a DEP regulation, I thought.
Yeah, actually, I think it sounded familiar. I was on the planning board when
Right.
that happened, and I think it was like their backyard area, because it separated it from the waterfront,
Mm.
I think that's what it came
The
down to.
doorway, the pathway to
where
the
that
door for
walkway
that
is,
church
because they wanted to
downstairs.
do a permanent, because they've got the ramps,
Right,
and it's that chunk of land there,
that they had to, they got from the town.
I believe so.
I think,
And
I
in
knew it was,
exchange, we got the road because apparently that went to her property.
right,
So
Yeah.
now the road to the marina and to the waterfront is
owned,
ours.
yeah.
So my understanding, they're closed, is for the art stuff?
So
I
so
missed something.
yeah, so a couple of years back,
Yes.
or maybe even a year back now,
Right.
Catherine moved into the third floor, which is where the gallery was.
Yes,
The second floor had some gallery, but it also had some retail.
yes.
That has now closed. The first floor, when it first opened, was classes, meeting space, the pottery was downstairs.
Yeah, I took a pottery class.
So, so then the church moved downstairs. So now the church is moving to the upstairs. When I spoke to her, she had some of the non-support wall structures removed. And so the church is gonna be upstairs now, and then she's gonna take, she's still gonna do classes, but those are gonna be downstairs.
In the basement.
She is giving it a go,
She's battling.
yeah, okay.
So would the church does that do anything to the tax base of that building?
No, she's still a for-profit. She still owns that building.
Yeah, they're just paying
She's
rent,
taxed on that, yeah.
but there's no exemption, because they're not,
Correct, 'cause
they don't own it.
the church does not own the building, correct. It's still owned, the building is still owned by a for-profit entity. But yes, if the church did own it, then they could use their nonprofit status, and then it would be non-taxable, but it is owned by Catherine James.
I guess where I'm going with this is, should the town be proactive to try to keep that property in,
Or commercial, first floor use.
yes.
I mean, we
I
went
don't
around
know.
on this back 10 years ago, I wanna say, but people wanted to live on the first floor, and I thought we never went with that, but I don't know what the regulations are around a church on the first floor, as far as the,
Sort of like a
Ordinance.
meeting space where you had the chamber, you had doctor's offices, it's,
falls under the same thing.
it falls under the same
There were,
guidance.
there were other churches on the main floor on the,
Right here.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like a parallel, not what you and I would hope for, retail wise, but.
I understand, so that's why I say, should the town be proactive, thinking down the road, I mean,
You need
the
to,
town's looking at, hopefully getting a huge grant to improve Main Street, and, if we don't have any businesses on Main Street, is that gonna be something that is a strike against us. It just, you know, and I don't wanna come off that I'm anti anything, but what I am is pro retail on Main Street.
So, I mean, what you're saying, John Paul, is you think we ought to visit whether we need an ordinance to make it purely business and not, and it wouldn't matter now, cause they're already in there, but you're saying for the future, is that what you're
That's,
suggesting?
at least entertain the thought, yes.
I can,
Cause we have a rule now that on this side of the road, from Napa to Gold Star Cleaners, the Main Street level has to be 51% commercial. And it has to be the Main Street side. So the back side could be, 49% could be residential, but the Main Street side, on this side of the road. Now, when you're talking the other side of the road, you're talking, federal to mechanic. Same rules apply, but in a smaller area.
So something else I'll kick around too, though, is that, although I very much so agree with you, is that she's been through it with that building. And I'm assuming that the church is paying some sort of rent to her, which is probably helping her keep it. So if that's how she's able to keep it, so to speak, then you gotta take that into account.
well, and I mean, if we were to try to have a conversation like, you know, for an ordinance, it wouldn't be getting them out now, but it would be in the future,
Right,
not permitting,
right.
just if
What
I'm hearing
I've
right.
seen with some communities is they do have like a reward system, or I'm not sure if it's in their ordinances, but some sort of reward system where if a building owner were to keep the Main Street level retail and then use, in most of the other examples, second, third floors as services, as housing, that some communities do provide some incentive for the building owners. And I can dig deeper into it, but I come across it when I was searching Main Street communities and
Okay.
what they do to combat.
Well, maybe
When
we
we
could,
went through this with Meg before, about the services versus the retail restaurant.
yeah. Do you wanna bring that to the next meeting, maybe?
I could do that.
Thank you.
So that 51%,
Yeah, how does that,
who keeps track of that, and do we fall with this change? Does it fall within that 51% commercial?
I don't know how it would, cause the whole first floor is gonna be a church.
No, I mean, this side of the street,
This side of the tree, yeah.
from wherever you say
I think I
to
did that.
dry cleaners,
Yes, yeah, from Napa to the dry cleaners, yeah.
has to be 51% commercial. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
So would that change, is it 51% commercial? Do you know?
I'd have to check with Luke
And who
because
keeps-
the
Who
code,
keeps track of that?
the code does, because when you go to make changes, you have to go, you're supposed to go see Luke. So when Luke goes out there, and people tried to do this before and they've come to Luke and it's stopped, it's gone to Board of Appeals, I mean, there's been some property owners who tried. But, trying to figure out, what use we have. Church, I would imagine, is an assembly use. In our ordinance, I'm not sure if that falls under, commercial or not. I do know we've had a chamber.
I mean, the conversation came up when people wanted residential on the first floor.
That's
10
how it
years
all came,
ago.
correct, yeah.
Well, we can talk to Luke about it. Any other discussion items not on the agenda for the committee?
Just
a
wanna ask,
question, since, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, nope, all right. Fountain, I know it's not sold, but is there any real update for the committee on the fountain at all? Where is it legally?
Hang on one second, I just got an email.
Oh, wow, what timing?
Good timing, Joe.
I know.
Hot off the press.
Yeah.
There are some people.
Did you just send them an email?
The seller has pulled out of the deal. We have the financing in place, so I don't know what is going on, but I'm going to try to find out I still have great interest in doing the project in Bucksport.
Yeah.
So the seller pulled out, the guy from New Jersey.
Yeah,
That is
New Jersey.
correct.
Oh, wow.
What's the, what is
However, I did get another email.
Oh, my gosh.
this? The buyer is pulled out.
Right? I actually had to forward it to Luke because they wanted to know someone who is an acquaintance of the seller on what they would need to do to change it to low-income housing.
That building's got, oh my gosh.
Already tried that.
Yeah, it was that.
I don't know where that stands since the conversation with Luke. I know he emailed that person back, but we have not heard back from said person.
Joe, did you have a?
Only, since we were talking about things, any more news about the landfill? I know, is it dead?
No, it's just, I don't,
Moratorium.
we have a moratorium and we're gonna create an ordinance, but, we've not heard anything from Whole Ocean since their initial
Whole
verbal.
Ocean? No, well,
I mean, AIM.
AIM.
Yeah.
Only because I had alerted after that meeting, Rich and also someone who told, I know we'll get to Susan, that Deer Island was being hit with $1 million federal lawsuit to clean up their landfill from construction waste because it was lead in it.
I don't know anything about that.
No, I'm just saying that came up, that's when, I told so Susan to find out about it.
I see.
I was wondering if you heard anything else.
No,
And I think Mark just answered the question on Whole Oceans. You haven't heard anything.
no.
But you see, the one in Jonesport is gonna go online, it's gonna start in, they're gonna start having fish, even though they didn't finish with their factory and their farm, they're starting in, and they're putting in one, in the ocean off of Portsmouth also.
Yeah, in the ocean though.
That one will be in the ocean.
Right, this
and
one was-
Jonesport will be on land,
Yeah.
but they're starting in, not waiting to to finish it, they have one in the water and they're starting in that, and they're gonna be, I forgot what type of fish they're gonna be produced. It's not salmon either, but they're going ahead, they're not holding back.
I think that's-
They're
Yeah.
gonna produce yellowtail. It's kingfish. They're producing yellowtail.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Anything else?
Oh, an update on the solar farm? You know, the one.
They've begun work up at the solar farm.
Is
That's
that?
It's
up
clear.
at the lumberyard, yeah. So if you hear something, it's not the landfill, it's the, Amoresco started on the clearing and some banging and clanging up there for the solar farm.
Okay, cool. That's what it is.
Anyone else?
I've got some updates when the committee's done, but I'll wait for the committee to go first.
I think we're ready for you.
Okay. So another email that just came in. The Dempsey Center is going to be hosting an event at the Alamo on Saturday, April 29th, which is going to include a movie showing, raffle, and opportunities to learn about the Dempsey Center. I guess Candy Benoit, Benoit, she lives on Verona Island. Not sure if Ron knows who she is, but she's helped to get this here. She's got some items to raffle off: a boat ride with Linda Greenlaw, 250 gallons of heating oil, restaurant gift cards galore. And she just asked if I would help spread the message. So this is step one of me helping to spread the message. That'll be on Saturday, April 29th at the Alamo. I do not have times.
What is the,
The Dempsey Center from Lewiston down there? Is that what it is?
Lewiston, Maine, yep. Karen Page is who reached out to me.
Yeah, but it's the guy, the actor there, right?
Patrick
Yeah.
Dempsey,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and I have one more for you. Yes, I'm working on a campaign with New Center, but I'm teaming up with the Fort. Since they get 100,000 visitors a year, I'd like to get some more of their folks. So Creative came up with a campaign, 2 lefts make a right. So you gotta take a left at the light, take a left at the light, right into the heart of Bucksport. So, using some other creative taglines like "Spend the day by the bay, take 2 turns." So it'd be, we've got to work more on it, but it's the Fort, the Observatory, and Bucksport. So we'll get the best value that we can out of that. We typically do pretty well with that campaign because we do the online as well as the TV with them.
Nice. Well, if there's nothing else, the schedule of the next meeting would be Monday, May 8th? at 6.
Yes, and we have something on the agenda for that, because today we got an application for the Pride Festival. So we'll have to take that up at the May 8th meeting so that it could be on the May 11th town council meeting.
Okay. All right. Item 6. You help with that, Jake?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?